think I hate this lighting. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about my recent reads. Essentially all of the books that I read in January and February. I was kind of coming out of a slump and still in a slump during those months, so I didn't read all that much, which is why I didn't have a wrap up for those months, but I figured I would still tell you guys what I read. We're a little bit late in the game, but we're here. I was in a huge slump from November and December of 2021 going into January and February of 2022, so I'm just now like back on my reading game and I'm doing better now, but before I was not doing all that great. So the first one that we're going to talk about is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I believe I gave this one 4 stars because I did really like this book, but I kind of saw it coming. This is a thriller. I got this in my book of the month box, obviously. This one was actually really good. It was very well written, and I really did have a blast with it. I just kind of knew what was going on, so that kind of took away a better rating for me, only because I was able to predict it. But yeah, it was really great. There were like multiple plot twists that just kept happening towards the end of the book, which I always love. And yeah, it was really great. I thought that the characters were very well done, and the storyline was something that I hadn't read before, so it definitely was very original in that sense. I really did have a fun time reading this book, and I would recommend this one. So there you go, you get a book recommendation too. Next up, we have a book that I will never forget, and that is Bunny by Mona Awad. So if you guys have been on my channel, you guys know that I read this and loved it. The way that I can describe reading this book is like reading someone else's dream. Okay, you know, dreams, they don't ever really make sense. I feel like they're always crazy, but it's like reading someone else's dreams and you're on drugs. So if that sounds fun to you, there you go. I would definitely recommend this book. I thought it was so well done. It has you second guessing like everything in this book, and then the very end just changes the whole book for you, and it is outstanding. Yeah, I do recommend this. It is a horror technically, so it is a little bit freaky and a little bit gory, I'm not even gonna lie. So if you don't like that stuff, do not pick up this book. But if you are interested in all of the creepy weird stuff, you're gonna love this, because this gives you all of that plus some. Next up, we have the book club pick for the Coffee Break Book Club, which is my book club and my friend Sydney's book club here on BookTube. And this was our first ever month for our book club, and we had 2 picks. We have 2 picks every single month. And in January, our first pick was The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. I did not like this. I'm pretty sure I gave this a generous 3 stars. I thought it was very cliche. I feel like I've read this kind of story like 15 million times. I know a lot of people who do love this, so I'm not gonna say I wouldn't recommend it, but if you have similar reading tastes like me, then you probably are not gonna enjoy this at all. Yeah, and it also was very repetitive. There were different languages in it, so there was like some French and then some Spanish. But the thing that I didn't like about this is that like when something was said in French or in Spanish, they didn't give you the translation underneath it, so you just kind of had to like guess what they were saying, which I guess meant that like you didn't need to know what they were saying, but then like why put it in the book? So yeah, this fell a little bit flat for me. So okay, next up, this was our secondary book club pick for the month of January, and that was Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. This I gave 5 stars. I absolutely love this book. It is about a girl, and she wants to get in this like prestigious art school, and she doesn't get accepted, and so she goes with her friend to tour some other art schools and kind of discover herself a little bit and work through some trauma. There are definitely some trigger warnings, so definitely look those up before reading this book, but I thought this book was spectacular. It did a great job of even incorporating like her art and everything she loved about art into this book, and at the end of each chapter it would have like what she painted or what she drew that totally made sense, and you could translate her art back to the chapter, and I just thought it was, I mean, so good. I mean, this book is amazing. I would recommend this to anyone and everyone. There you go. If you had to read any of these books, please read this one. Okay, next up I have Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. So this one I read in a 24-hour readathon. If you want to watch that, I will link it in the description box down below. Or no, it was a 48-hour readathon, and I had a lot of fun with this. The ending of this book, I really need the third book because the way that this ended, I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, the ending of this book was insane. I really, really love this world. I think it is just such a cool concept, but also I love the characters. They are very likable and relatable. So I liked it in that aspect. It is a chunker though, so it is kind of long, but it's definitely worth it and it doesn't feel as long. So if you haven't read this series or been to this world yet, I would recommend. Okay, next up I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. So this one obviously you've probably heard of. It is floating all over BookTube, Bookstagram, and BookTok. But I read this for the first time. I was planning to do a 24-hour readathon and then I ended up giving up, but I still finished this book. I did really enjoy this one. I think I gave this one 4 stars only because it is a YA mystery, so the YA brought it down for me a little bit. I'm starting to realize that YA is not my forte all that much. And it's really just certain books, but I feel like the majority of YA is becoming too young for me. So that's why this didn't get 5 stars, but I do think it is a great book. There is some serious plot twists that happened that I did not see coming. This one was really fun, and I do want to get the rest of the books to finish this series because I think there's 3 books in this series as well. Okay, second to last, we are almost done. Oh no, an audiobook. Oh my gosh, let me go ahead and tell you about this audiobook before I forget. I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I don't know who the author is and I don't think I could even pronounce it if I knew it, but I read this and this was really, really cool. This is like a book basically about time travel and you can travel back in time. You cannot like change the past or anything. You can just learn from it, and you have to return before your coffee gets cold or you will get stuck in the past. And this is just a really, really great story about just kind of like some like reflection moments for a character and also just some like getting some closure, and it really is just a sweet story and I would also recommend that one. The audiobook on Scribd read really, really well, and I enjoyed every minute of that. But now going into this next book, it is Do Not Fall in Love by Jackie Lau, or Law, I don't know. But I read this one in that 48-hour readathon as well, and I did enjoy this, but it is definitely very cheesy. But if you like cheesy romances, you are gonna love this. I started tabbing in this book, as you can see, and then I gave up because I was like, no way. So yeah, it definitely is a little bit cheesy, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was really cute, and I think I gave it 3 stars. So yeah, if you like cheesy, you'll like this, but it's not really my thing. Now, second to last, a book that I no longer own, actually, because I returned it to Amazon. This was our book club pick for the month of February, and that was Spanish Love Deception. No, I don't like this book. I thought that it was really disappointing, considering all the hype around it. I had a lot of issues with this book. I feel like for the synopsis to talk about how it took place in Spain, we did not spend enough time in Spain, as well as I thought the characters were very obnoxious. I thought that their chemistry was really cringy and I felt like it was too slow of a slow burn. And I also was confused because for it to be a slow burn, she was convincing herself that she didn't like him way early on in the book. I felt like there shouldn't have been any inner turmoil happening until like farther into the book, like maybe a third into the book, because then we're getting to know her. I also didn't think her hatred for him was really believable at all. So yeah, it was just not my cup of tea. I know that some of you really, really love that book and I'm so glad that you loved it. I really am, but I did not love it. And also my copy from Amazon, which this had nothing to do with the rating. I did not rate the book based on this problem, but the copy that I got from Amazon, the pages were literally falling out of the book. I have no idea why or like what was going on, but it was as if like the glue was not done properly, and so every like 5 pages, a page would just fall out of my book. And for me, because I didn't really care for the book, and because of that, it wasn't really worth keeping, so I just returned it and got some other books instead. But yeah, I did not have fun with that book, but if you like it, you like it, and I'm so happy, but please don't kill me. And our last book is, this was our secondary pick, Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This one I really did love. I believe I gave this one was really good. A very original story. I've never read anything like it. I thought the characters were great. I thought it was the perfect amount of suspicion on certain characters, and also certain characters I had no suspicion of and I should have been suspicious, and you know, yeah, so this was just a really, really great book. I enjoyed every minute of this, and our live show for this was so much fun, because there was just so much good things to say about this book, and I could have talked for hours about this book. So yeah, I really did have fun with this one, and I am excited to read more of Lisa Joel. I did read, this is my second book by Lisa Joel, and I was surprised again. So I'm excited to read more by her. But yeah, this was my last one. These are the books that I have just recently read. I hope that maybe you will end up reading some of these. Maybe they interest you. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.